Every election brings a cacophony of opinions, debates, and most importantly, predictions about who's going to win and why. And inevitably, once the election results are declared, experts always say, "I told you." But one category of experts who put their money where their mouth is are opinion pollsters. So let's have a look at what the opinion polls are saying about who's winning in Bihar and what the poll of polls is saying. Remember, there are 243 assembly seats in Bihar and the halfway mark or the majority mark is 122. The average poll of polls says the NDA alliance is clearly in the lead with a forecast of winning 110 seats. The NDA is Nitish Kumar's JDU, the BJP and Chirag Paswan's LJP and other smaller parties. But with 110 seats, the NDA will still be 12 short of a majority. Now, the second largest alliance is forecast to be the Mahagathbandhan with 98 seats. The MGB is essentially an alliance of Lalu's son Tejashwi's party, the RJD, the Congress, and the alliance also has the remarkably successful local far left-wing party, the CPI-ML Liberation. Also this time there's a potentially big new third force, the Jan Suraj party, formed only in October 2024 by the former brilliant election strategist Prashant Kishore, who launched his career advising Narendra Modi in the 2014 parliamentary elections. His party is forecast to win 24 seats and this could make him a kingmaker. While these forecasts are the average of several credible opinion polls conducted over the last 3 months, the range of individual forecasts can be just wild, with some extreme and opposite forecasts. For instance, one opinion poll forecasts a 177-seat sweep for the NDA, while another forecasts a sweep for the Mahagathbandhan, winning 155 seats. Now, studying all the credible opinion polls in Bihar from 2000 to 2020, that's a total of 25 polls, the average poll of polls reveals they have mostly forecast the wrong winner. In fact, any opinion poll in Bihar has a bigger chance of getting the forecast wrong than right. The data shows that 56% of Bihar opinion polls forecast the wrong winner and only 44 have made a correct forecast. Now, if we compare the accuracy of opinion polls in Bihar with the rest of India, all opinion polls for assembly elections in India have got their forecast correct 70% of the time and wrong only 30% of the time. And if we rank the accuracy of opinion polls across all individual states, Bihar ranks very low. The 4 states with the best record of opinion polls are Andhra, Kerala, Gujarat and Assam. The next 11 states with moderately good forecasts include Tamil Nadu, Bengal, UP and others. Finally, the list of the 4 states with the worst record of poll forecasts is headed by Bihar. So why do pollsters get it so wrong in Bihar? 2 possible reasons: women and migration. Today, the percentage of women's turnout in Bihar elections is above men's turnout by a large margin, making that gender gap the highest of any state in the country. Women's turnout is a huge 5.9% above men's voter turnout in all Lok Sabha and Assembly Bihar elections. The state with the lowest women's turnout compared to men's is Gujarat, where women's turnout is 6% less than men. Now, just as a quick aside, over the years, millions of eligible women who are 18 years old or more have not been officially registered by the Election Commission as voters. The recent rushed and hurried SIR made matters even worse. The number of missing women in Bihar has doubled since last year. But to a certain extent, Bihar's women voters have overcome this missing women phenomenon with greater participation in elections. The official Election Commission rolls have 39 million men but only 35 million women. But while about 54% of men turn out and vote, almost 60% of women turn out and vote. So the final figures of men and women who actually vote therefore are almost identical. Only 0.3 million more men vote than women in Bihar. Back to our main theme. Over the last 60 years in Bihar, there's been a dramatic change in voting behavior. While men's turnout has actually fallen by 0.8%, the rise in women's turnout has been a wonderful 84% up. This greater involvement of women voters in Bihar's elections has virtually turned Bihar's politics upside down. In 1962, women's turnout was very low, a huge 23% less than men's turnout. In 2020, Bihar saw women's turnout at 5.2% higher than men. So why can't pollsters get the women's vote right? This incredible rise in the importance of women's vote is one of the key reasons why opinion polls have got it wrong so far in Bihar. First, a gender bias in fieldwork. Nearly 90% of the interviewers in polling organizations are male from cities. From our experience of pilot surveys, women in rural areas particularly are hesitant to answer questions from male strangers. While this is also true of polls in other states, but given the higher turnout of women in Bihar, undercounting their opinion obviously skews the results much more. Second, migration. Bihar has one of the highest rates of male migration. Men working outside the state often can't return home to vote, making it difficult for pollsters to build a representative sample and assess the impact of migration on the swing in votes. So the question remains, do men and women in Bihar vote differently? Yes, they do, and decisively so. A detailed opinion poll by Dhananjay of Cicero, perhaps one of the few that predicted the Lok Sabha elections correctly, found that 48% of women supported the NDA, while only 41% backed the Mahagathbandhan. But amongst men, it was the reverse. 46% for the Mahagathbandhan and 45% for NDA. Now that's a 7-point gap in favor of the NDA. Most importantly, Cicero hired more women interviewers for their poll, proving how methodology really matters in opinion polls. The actual results of the Lok Sabha elections in Bihar tells a similar story and confirms the significance of women's turnout, that they are a key factor in deciding the outcome of Bihar elections. Breaking down voting patterns region-wise in Bihar shows that where women's turnout was highest, the NDA won most seats, and where women's turnout was low, the Mahagathbandhan won most seats, contrary to the pattern in the whole state. First, looking at the top two regions of Bihar with the highest women's turnout versus men's turnout, Kosi and Darbhanga. In Kosi, women's turnout was an amazing 12.5% above men. And in Darbhanga, women's turnout was 11.9% above men, the second highest in Bihar. And in the final election results, the NDA swept the region, winning 77% of the seats. And in Darbhanga, the NDA won 73% of the seats. Now in the two regions of Magad and Patna, where the percentage turnout of women was the lowest compared to men, the NDA did poorly. In Patna, where the turnout of women was 4.5% less than men, the NDA won only 30% of the seats. And in Magad, where the turnout of women was 1.8% lower than men, the NDA won only 23% of the seats. So in summary, the bottom line, 1. Opinion polls are forecasting a clear lead for the NDA in this 2025 assembly elections. 2. However, in the past, opinion polls in Bihar have been wrong 56% of the time. 3. The percentage turnout of women is much higher than the turnout of men. In fact, the highest gender gap among all states in India. Point 4. There has been a massive 84% rise in women's turnout over the last 6 decades, while men's turnout has actually fallen in that same period. This is because a large number of men from Bihar migrate to other states and can't return at election time to vote. Finally, women in Bihar vote for the NDA in much larger numbers than the Mahagathbandhan, while men vote more for the Mahagathbandhan. Finally, it's the women voters who are going to decide who the winner is. The higher their turnout, the clearer the result will be if the earlier voting patterns remain the same. Over the next few weeks, we'll be traveling across the state and talking to voters in towns and villages. Do follow us for more analysis and reports from the ground.